Listen to me carefully. The pain you're feeling right now isn't here to bury you. It's here to wake you up. People keep telling you to move on, forget, heal, be positive, as if your heart isn't ripping open every time you breathe. But I'm going to tell you something nobody else will. This pain is the single most important moment of your life. Not because she left, not because you're alone, not because you're hurting, but because this is the exact moment when a man either breaks forever or rises into someone he never thought he could become. You think this pain is punishment, but it's actually pressure. And pressure is how diamonds are made. That feeling in your chest, that knot in your stomach, that emptiness you can't describe, that's life chiseling away at everything weak inside you. It's cutting off the dead weight, stripping away the comfort, forcing you to face the parts of yourself you've ignored. Every great man was born from a moment just like this, a moment where the world ripped something away from him and forced him to confront who he really was without distractions, without illusions, without comfort. You're at war right now, not with her, not with the memories, not even with the heartbreak. You're at war with the version of you that allowed this moment to destroy your identity. That's the real fight. Because the pain you feel is not a coffin being lowered into the ground. It's the ground breaking open so you can climb out of the person you were and rise into the person you're meant to be. The storm you're standing in isn't here to drown you. It's here to show you you've been breathing underwater your whole life without even knowing it. Think about it. Before this moment, how much of your life was autopilot? How much of your identity was dependent on someone else validating you, loving you, choosing you, reminding you you're worth something? How much of your potential was sleeping because comfort made you lazy, made you soft, made you forget you were born to be unstoppable? Pain doesn't appear out of nowhere. It shows up when you've outgrown your old life. It shows up when you've been living too small, too quietly, too safely. It shows up when the universe is done waiting for you to become who you could have been all along. And that's why this moment matters more than any moment that came before it. This is the moment that exposes everything. Pain is honest. It never lies. It tells you when you're weak. It tells you what you've been avoiding. It tells you exactly where your foundations were flawed. If you're shattered right now, that means something inside you was fragile. If you're lost, that means you were relying on someone else to give you direction. If you're hurting, that means you loved deeply. But it also means you didn't love yourself enough to stand tall when life pulled the rug out from under you. That's not something to be ashamed of. That's something to learn from. Pain is a teacher, and teachers don't show up when everything is perfect. They show up when everything falls apart. And this teacher, the one you feel crushing your ribs right now, this is the toughest one you'll ever face. But it's also the one that will elevate you higher than anything else ever could, because when comfort builds you, you become dependent. When praise builds you, you become fragile. But when pain builds you, you become unstoppable. Pain doesn't shape you gently, it carves you aggressively. It doesn't whisper, it screams. It doesn't guide, it forces. And right now, it's forcing you to evolve or stay broken. It's pushing you toward a version of yourself who no longer collapses when life removes something he thought he needed. It's pushing you toward discipline, toward strength, toward clarity, toward purpose. Pain is the catalyst. It breaks the shell but never touches the core. It destroys the illusion but reveals the truth. It tears down the weak version of you but leaves behind the raw material needed to build a stronger one. It strips you so you can rebuild yourself without dependency, without fear, without insecurity, without doubt. There's a truth you've avoided your whole life, and heartbreak just dragged it into the light. Rejection isn't the moment someone walks away from you. Rejection is the moment your weaknesses become undeniable. When she left, when she stopped choosing you, when she pulled away from the version of you she no longer believed in, it wasn't just a breakup. It was an X-ray of your entire identity. It exposed every crack you ignored, every flaw you hid, every part of you that you hoped no one would notice. And now that it's exposed, you have a choice. You either deny it and stay the same, or you face it and become someone completely unrecognizable to the man you were yesterday. Most men make the same mistake. They think rejection means, I'm not good enough. That's not what it means at all. Rejection means there's something in you that needs to evolve. There is a massive difference between shame and awareness. Shame paralyzes you. Awareness empowers you. And right now, you are being handed the most powerful awareness you will ever receive. Because nothing, absolutely nothing, shines a brighter light on your blind spots than the moment someone stops choosing you. That moment forces you to confront questions you've been dodging. Who were you becoming when you were with her? Were you a leader or a follower? Did you grow or did you stagnate? Were you disciplined, focused, driven, or did you slowly let yourself go because comfort felt easier than effort? Rejection doesn't come out of nowhere. It arrives when the gap between who you are and who you could be becomes too wide to ignore. It arrives when your potential isn't being fulfilled. It arrives when your ambition falls asleep, when your mission fades, when you trade purpose for convenience. Think back. You know there were moments when you felt yourself slipping. Times when you were less focused, less committed to your goals, less sharp, less hungry. Times when you put her on a pedestal and put yourself on pause. Times when you let your standards drop just because being comfortable together was easier than pushing yourself. And now you're facing the consequences of that slow decline. Not as punishment, but as revelation. The pain you feel right now isn't telling you she left. It's telling you you ignored your own evolution. Rejection is feedback. It shows you where you were weak. It shows you what you neglected. It shows you the areas of your life you abandoned while you were busy prioritizing something or someone who was never meant to be the center of your world. You stopped leveling up and life responded, not because you're unworthy, but because you were living below the standard required to keep growing. This moment is your wake up call. It's the universe saying, you've been playing small for too long. Men aren't supposed to be destroyed by rejection. They're supposed to be awakened by it. Because when someone walks away from you, you finally get to see yourself without the mask of comfort. You see your inconsistencies, your complacency, your lack of discipline, your missing fire. You see exactly where you've been lying to yourself. And that level of truth stings because it's real. But that's why rejection is powerful. Truth always hurts before it helps. And here's what most people will never admit. The version of you that got rejected is not the version of you you're meant to stay. Rejection exposes the old version of you so you can build the next one. It tears away the identity you built out of habit, routine, and comfort. It forces you to look in the mirror without excuses, without distractions, without someone beside you validating you. It reveals the flaws you never fixed because you thought you were good enough. This is not the moment to collapse. This is the moment to analyze. Why did this happen? Where did you stop improving? What parts of your life became stagnant? What habits weakened you? What insecurities went unchecked? What dreams did you put on hold because being comfortable felt easier than being excellent? These are questions men only ask themselves when they've been pushed into a corner. And right now, you're in that corner, not trapped. Cornered by truth. Rejection is not a dead end. It is a diagnosis. And like any diagnosis, it only becomes fatal if you ignore it. The pain you feel is not telling you that you lost something. It's telling you that you were supposed to evolve, and now you must. The version of you that emerges from this, if you're brave enough to confront the truth, will be stronger, sharper, more disciplined, more aware, more grounded, and completely immune to the weaknesses that were exposed today. There is a kind of imprisonment most men never recognize until it's too late. It doesn't come with chains, it doesn't come with bars, and you don't feel it until the person holding the key walks away. You think you were in a relationship, but what you were really in was emotional captivity. You handed someone the remote control to your mind, and now you're shocked that you can't function without them. The truth is simple. Somewhere along the way, you allowed another human being to own your peace, your thoughts, your confidence, your routine, your identity. And the moment they left, you didn't just lose them. You lost your sense of self. That's the real heartbreak. Not the person leaving, but realizing how much of your strength was attached to them. You let someone else dictate your emotional climate. A message from them made your whole day good. Their silence ruined it. Their affection filled you. Their distance emptied you. Their presence stabilized you. Their absence destroyed you. That's not love. That's dependency. And dependency always ends in devastation. You were never supposed to let anyone have that much control over you. A man is supposed to be rooted, centered, unshakable. A man is supposed to stand firm in who he is, not collapse the moment someone else withdraws. But you didn't realize it at the time because emotional ownership doesn't happen overnight. It happens gradually. It happens when you stop prioritizing your goals because you're prioritizing someone else's approval. It happens when you stop pushing yourself because comfortable together feels better than discipline. It happens when you make someone your source of happiness instead of making yourself the source. Slowly, silently, without noticing, you gave away the parts of you that kept you solid, and then one day, the person you depended on isn't there. Now your mind is loud. Now every insecurity, every fear, every weakness you buried under affection rises to the surface. Now you feel like you can't breathe because the emotional oxygen you relied on was never yours to begin with. That's why the pain feels unbearable. You didn't just lose a relationship. You lost the person you were when the relationship existed. And now you don't know how to operate without that external validation keeping you centered. This is why you must learn the lesson right now, while the wound is fresh and the truth is impossible to ignore. You should never be mentally owned by anyone. Affection is beautiful. Connection is powerful. But ownership of your emotional stability belongs to you and only you. The moment you let someone else become the foundation of your confidence, your purpose, your joy, your identity, you set yourself up for collapse. Because people leave, people change, people grow apart. And if your stability depends on another human being staying beside you forever, then your stability was never real. You need to understand something deep. Emotional independence isn't coldness. It's not about avoiding love or avoiding connection. It's about never allowing someone else's actions to control your entire mental state. It's about being able to stand strong whether someone stays or goes. It's about being grounded enough to care deeply without losing yourself. It's about loving without surrendering your autonomy. True strength is the ability to feel everything without being ruled by anything. When you let someone own your mind, you stop being the driver of your own life. You react instead of act. You cling instead of choose. You panic instead of focus. You become addicted to reassurance, terrified of loss, and dependent on emotional crumbs because you've forgotten how to feed yourself mentally. This is why heartbreak feels like the world is ending. It's withdrawal. Withdrawal from the emotional dependency you built. But this moment right here, this pain, this shock, this emptiness, it's your opportunity to take your mind back. To reclaim the parts of you that were handed away too easily. To rebuild yourself without needing someone's presence to feel valuable. To strengthen your mind to the point where no one, not even the person you love most, can shake your sense of identity. Because when a man is emotionally independent, he becomes untouchable. He doesn't chase validation. He doesn't crumble from rejection. He doesn't lose himself in attachment. He remains solid, focused, powerful, grounded, and that's exactly who you must become now. The version of you who is no longer mentally owned by anyone. The version who can love without losing himself. The version who can give without becoming dependent. The version who stands tall even in the absence of those he cared for. The version who controls his mind instead of giving that control away. There's a moment in every man's life when the world goes quiet. Not because everything is peaceful, but because everything has collapsed. The noise of the relationship is gone. The comfort is gone. The routines you built together are gone. The person you depended on is gone. Your phone stops buzzing. Your days feel empty. Your nights feel longer. And suddenly, you are alone, truly alone, for the first time in a very long time. This is the moment most men run from. But this is also the moment where real self-respect is born. Solitude is not punishment. Solitude is the workshop where a stronger version of you is forged. When you strip away the distractions, the constant communication, the emotional safety net, you're left with the raw reality of who you are without anyone holding you together. And that's where the real work begins. Because when you're alone, you can no longer hide behind love, behind comfort, behind routine. You have to face yourself exactly as you are. Ask yourself this: who are you when nobody is watching? Who are you when there's no one to impress, no one to validate you, no one to appreciate your efforts, no one to comfort you? That answer defines the foundation of your character. Self-respect doesn't come from praise, attention, or affection. Self-respect is built when you choose discipline while nobody sees it, when you choose growth even when no one is clapping, when you push yourself when there's no reward except becoming better than you were yesterday. Most men think respect is something the world gives you. That's wrong. Respect is something you build internally alone through your habits, your decisions, your consistency. You don't earn respect by being loved. You earn it by becoming someone who doesn't need love to stay strong. And the only place you learn that is in solitude. When the relationship ends and you're sitting there feeling empty, that's not loneliness. That's the space where your new identity can finally breathe. The truth is, you lost respect for yourself long before she left. You stopped holding yourself to a higher standard. You stopped challenging yourself. You stopped setting boundaries. You sacrificed pieces of yourself, hoping it would make the relationship smoother, easier, safer. But every piece you gave away was a piece of your self-respect. And when the relationship ended, you felt hollow because you had nothing left to stand on. That's why solitude is so important right now. It's the place where you reclaim those pieces one by one when you're alone. You have no choice but to build structure. You start waking up earlier because you know nobody else will motivate you. You start working out because you realize your body reflects your discipline, not your emotions. You start reading, learning, improving because you finally understand that your mind needs growth the same way your muscles need resistance. The moment you stop relying on someone else for stability, you start building stability for yourself. And that's exactly where self-respect is born. Solitude teaches you that you are responsible for your life. It teaches you that nobody is coming to save you. It teaches you that your mental strength is your only real protection. When you sit alone with your thoughts, when you process the pain without running from it, when you choose to show up for yourself even when you feel broken, that's when you start becoming the version of you the world cannot ignore. And here's the truth that stings. You can't build self-respect in comfort. You can't build it in love that requires nothing from you. You can't build it while someone else is constantly reassuring you, supporting you, choosing you. You build it when the support disappears and you're forced to stand on your own 2 feet. You build it when you look at yourself in the mirror and admit that the man staring back needs to rise or he will fall permanently. This period of solitude you're going through is not a break in your story. It's the chapter where you finally become the man you were supposed to be. The man who doesn't beg, doesn't collapse, doesn't chase validation. The man who commands respect not because he demands it, but because he embodies it. The man who shows up every day, regardless of how he feels. The man who becomes so disciplined, so focused, so self-assured that nobody's presence can elevate him and nobody's absence can break him. There's something you need to understand about life and understand it deeply. The world does not stop spinning because you're heartbroken. It doesn't slow down because you're hurting. It doesn't bend for your sadness, your memories, your tears, or your excuses. The world listens to one language, results. And right now, you're speaking in stories. Stories about what happened, about how much you cared, about how shattered you feel, about how unfair it all seems. But stories don't move the world. Stories don't rebuild your confidence. Stories don't elevate your life. Stories don't earn respect. Only results do. And that's why this moment matters so much. Because this is the moment where most men get stuck. They replay the narrative of their heartbreak so many times that it becomes their identity. They become the guy who got left, the guy who suffered, the guy who tried his best but wasn't enough. They live inside the story instead of changing what happens next. But that story doesn't matter to anyone except you. The world isn't waiting to feel sorry for you. It's waiting to see what you do now. Think about the men you admire. Think about the people you respect. You don't respect them because of what they went through. You respect them because of what they built despite what they went through. Their struggles might inspire you, but their results are what earned your admiration. Pain doesn't define a man. What he creates from that pain does. So if you want the world to respect you again, if you want your future self to respect you, if you want to look in the mirror and see someone powerful instead of someone broken, You need to shift your focus from storytelling to action right now. Your mind is flooded with emotion. You feel betrayed, abandoned, empty, angry, confused. But none of those emotions will rebuild your life unless you channel them. The world doesn't reward emotion. It rewards transformation. It rewards discipline. It rewards consistency. It rewards the man who takes heartbreak and uses it as fuel to reinvent himself. And this is where the separation happens. The world separates the men who stay stuck in their story from the men who use their story as motivation to level up. When you stop talking about what happened and start working on what's next, everything changes. When you start waking up early again, training again, learning again, building again, earning again, focusing again, something shifts inside you. You stop feeling powerless. You stop feeling lost. You stop feeling like life is happening to you. You start feeling responsible. You start feeling capable. You start feeling like you're the one writing the next chapter, not reading the last one. Your results are going to speak louder than any explanation you could ever give. You don't have to tell anyone you're improving. People will see it. You don't have to tell anyone you're healing. Your presence will show it. You don't have to tell anyone you're rising. Your achievements will announce it for you. That's how the world works. It listens to what you produce, not what you feel. And here's the part most men never realize: results heal heartbreak faster than time. When you start seeing your body transform, your finances grow, your discipline sharpen, your mind strengthen, your confidence return, the pain begins to lose its power. You stop obsessing over what you lost and start focusing on who you're becoming. You stop chasing closure and start chasing improvement. You stop waiting for someone to come back and start moving forward with purpose. This is why this chapter of your life is critical, because your actions right now decide the man you become next. If you stay stuck in the story, nothing changes. If you shift into results mode, everything changes. The world doesn't care how long you were together. It doesn't care how much you loved her. It doesn't care how devastating the breakup felt. It cares about who you become after it. The world respects the man who takes the punch, wipes the blood, stands up, and becomes twice as powerful as he was before the hit even landed. So instead of explaining your pain, let your evolution do the talking. Instead of narrating your heartbreak, let your discipline rewrite the script. Instead of sharing your sadness, let your results speak for you. Because the truth is simple: the world will not remember the story of your heartbreak, but it will remember the results you created because of it. There's a moment after heartbreak when a man feels like everything has been taken from him. His confidence, his rhythm, his purpose, his identity. It feels like life has pressed pause while the rest of the world keeps moving forward. But what you don't realize yet is that this moment isn't the end of your story. It's the birth of the comeback that will redefine your entire life. And that's exactly what this keynote is about. Because the comeback isn't just about becoming better. It's about becoming untouchable right now. You feel vulnerable. You feel exposed. You feel like you're walking through life with wounds that haven't closed yet. But this is the exact space where transformation starts. Not when everything is going well, not when you're loved, not when life is stable. The strongest men in history didn't rise from comfort. They rose from loss, from betrayal, from heartbreak, from moments that nearly broke them. Your comeback starts the moment you decide you're done being defined by what hurt you. And here's the truth most people never want to admit. Nobody remembers the man who stayed broken. They remember the man who rebuilt himself so completely that the world couldn't believe he was ever down in the first place. Your comeback is going to erase the version of you that feels weak right now. It's going to replace sadness with discipline, confusion with direction, and pain with power. But you have to climb, you have to push, you have to rise. Nobody can do this part for you. Think about it like this. Every setback creates space for a new identity. When she left, she took the version of you that existed in that relationship. That chapter closed, but you're still here. And the man you choose to build next, the one rising from this pain, will be sharper, stronger, more focused, more driven, more grounded than the man you were when she walked away. This is the version of you who doesn't beg for closure, who doesn't chase validation, who doesn't crumble when someone exits his life. This is the version of you who commands respect simply by existing. But a comeback doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you turn all that emotional chaos into momentum. The anger becomes fuel, the sadness becomes insight, the emptiness becomes space for improvement, the silence becomes clarity. Every emotion you're experiencing right now is raw material. You can either drown in it or build with it. Greatness is built from the same emotions that destroy average men. What changes everything is what you do with those emotions when you start putting the pieces back together. Piece by disciplined piece. You become dangerous in a way you never were before. Because now you know exactly what it feels like to lose everything. You know what it feels like to have your heart ripped open. You know what it feels like to wake up and fight tears just to function. And a man who has survived that kind of emotional storm becomes unshakable. Life can't break him the same way twice your comeback will show you something else. Who you really are when comfort is gone. You'll find out that you can work harder than you ever thought possible. You'll discover focus you didn't know you had. You'll unlock discipline that had been buried under a life that was too easy. You'll see yourself pushing through pain, through loneliness, through doubt. And each time you push, the world's grip on your emotions loosens. Your self-control strengthens. Your self-respect grows. You start to realize that the man who is rising now is far more powerful than the man who existed before the heartbreak. And here's where things get interesting. Once the comeback begins, people start noticing. Not because you're trying to prove anything, but because transformation is loud even in silence. Your energy changes, your presence changes, your standards change. You walk differently, you speak differently, you carry yourself like someone who knows he survived something heavy and came out sharper, not softer. And the world responds to that. Opportunities start appearing, people start respecting you. Life starts rewarding the new version of you because you earned it through fire. This is what makes you untouchable. Not perfection, not strength, not confidence alone. It's the combination of having been broken and choosing to rise anyway. It's the knowledge that you rebuilt yourself with your own hands. It's the unshakable certainty that you don't need anyone to complete you. You are whole on your own. You are solid on your own. You are powerful on your own. The comeback isn't just about proving something to the world. It's about proving something to yourself that no matter who leaves, no matter what collapses, no matter how deep the wound goes, you will always rise back stronger than before. Listen closely, because this is the part most men ignore, and that's why they stay broken. Everything you've just heard, every moment of pain, every second of betrayal, every hit to your confidence was not a punishment. It was preparation. Life didn't take something from you to destroy you. It took something from you to expose you to yourself, because now you know what it feels like to fall now. You know what it feels like to be abandoned now. You know what it feels like to be cracked open, emptied out, and left with nothing but the truth. And the truth is this: the man you were before wasn't enough for the life you say you want. You needed this, you needed the fire, you needed the shock, you needed the silence after she left to hear the voice you've been ignoring for years. You know that voice, the one that says, get up, the one that says, this isn't your final chapter, the one that says, you were built for more, your heartbreak. It's not the end of your story, it's the beginning of your evolution. The version of you that was soft, dependent, distracted, careless with his time, reckless with his purpose, he's gone now. The universe stripped him away. You are not meant to remain who she walked away from. You are meant to become the man she'll regret losing, but understand something deeply: this journey isn't about her anymore. You don't rise to win her back. You rise because the man you're about to become deserves to exist. You rise because your future demands it. You rise because your legacy is calling you, and it's louder than your heartbreak will ever be. So if you're still hurting, good. That means you're still alive. Pain is the signal that transformation is happening. Pain is the proof that you're shedding the old you. Pain is the pressure that forges something far greater than who you were yesterday, and one day, not today, not tomorrow, but someday soon, you will look back on this moment and realize that this was the turning point. The day you stopped begging and started building. The day you stopped breaking and started becoming. The day you understood that the world doesn't reward the wounded, It rewards the warriors who stand back up with blood on their hands and purpose in their eyes. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for closure. Don't wait for someone to come rescue you.